I mean, I'm not saying stop killing games, but stop killing software as a whole. Like, do you think I actually want beautiful progress bars free to be deprecated and now I can only download it? I can never view it on the asset store again, so I don't even know what the heck I'm downloading. And in most cases, when people deprecate something, that means it's no longer supported. So let's just say this did have a bunch of code. It doesn't, it's just loading bars. But let's say it did. In the future, this code would no longer work because it was deprecated. Now, why was it deprecated? Well, there's several reasons. The developer either stopped supporting it or died. Like, those are the two reasons. The developer stopped supporting it, or they literally died and can't support it anymore. Now, I would love if this never happened. I'm with Ross on this whole argument that stuff disappearing would be great. It would be so nice if stuff just didn't disappear anymore and we could keep stuff forever. It doesn't make clear whether they want the game to remain playable or whether they want the game to remain live. This is why people keep arguing, just shouting out at each other, "You don't understand this. We don't want to keep them live forever. We just want to keep them playable." That's backtracking on what you said earlier. Ross's original argument was they should be made live forever. They should release server tools and make them live forever. Now it's backtracking to, no, that's not the argument. See, it's changing. You're changing it without realizing it. I'm getting mad right now because I'm passionate, because I make video games for it, like, sadly, a living. I would like to have a job, but I do it as a part-time thing to make a little bit of extra money, like, a side hustle, a hobby. But with that being said, this initiative doesn't fix anything the way it is. Whether or not you keep a game in a playable live state or a playable offline state doesn't fix it. Let me give you some examples. Let's say you just want it to be playable offline. Fine. Let's say tomorrow the Crew 2 updates and you get a 10-foot road and a 1 car from the game. It's offline. There's an offline experience. You can turn it on and play it now. That's what they will do. If you think I'm kidding, they will. This comes from having an initiative where the plan is to make other people come up with a plan. That's a bad idea. I shouldn't have to say that. It sounds bad. Making a plan where other people have to plan to do something, period, doesn't work. You can't do that. You can't make other people plan. As I showed in my short, if you make other people come up with an end-of-life plan, they'll just come up with reasons to not do it. Or they'll just make a silly end-of-life plan to mock you. They'll literally say, the end-of-life plan will come when I die. How are they going to follow through with the end-of-life plan when they're dead, if that's their end-of-life plan? See, you don't have a clear plan for other people's plans. You just want them to come up with a plan. And then you say, okay, well, we actually do want the game to stay alive, despite all the people arguing that that's not what they're saying. Okay, then how do you do that? Well, we can get the files from the developer. Again, people keep arguing this because developers keep telling you, no, you can't. Those files are someone else's. I can't give them away. I can download them all I want. They're free. They're literally free. But the license behind it doesn't give me the right to give them out. You can go download it yourself when it was online. But if you haven't downloaded it and put it into your little Unity repository, it's gone forever. You can't have those loading bars. I can't do anything about that. If I download them and put them out, that's pirating. That's me stealing another developer's software and giving it out. It pisses me off too. I want to do something about it. The reality is coming up with a plan to force other people to do stuff with development that you don't understand. Like, if your idea is to redesign the game or redevelop the game, you don't understand how games are made. You don't understand how much work goes into them. You don't understand that people put years and years and years and years of effort into certain games, and they do not have the ability to redesign them, redevelop them, reprogram them. Get the server binaries or whatever you think is going to solve it. It's not, because people can already reverse engineer video games that you have the client and then you have the server. If they have the client, they can get most of the information for the server and remake the server. You don't have to have all of the server information to rebuild the server. You only need the callbacks from the game. So let's say I whack someone. Guess what? The server only sees the whack. That's the only thing it sees. It doesn't see me moving. It doesn't see me hitting. It sees whack. It sees interaction. So then I control that whack by reprogramming the game or the server, making a new server, and feeding that callback to the server for the whack to work. And then you move on to the next thing and the next thing. I'm grossly oversimplifying the decompiling process, and I'm not saying it's a solution because it doesn't fix my deprecated software. Okay? So developers aren't against you when it comes to deprecating software. We want it to end, but there's no real solution other than telling people it will end, because the developer can't be forced to find new people to continue on the development. 1, not all developers know other developers. 2, they die. 3, not all developers want to work on other people's projects forever. So I want a solution to this. I genuinely do. I do not believe forcing developers to come up with an end-of-life plan that they can't even figure out is a solution. That's Chinese. That's what China did. They forced everyone to basically, in China, if you want to make anything, especially online, you have to get the CCP to agree to it. So you have to file for it. You have to wait. It's like filing a patent. It's a whole process just to program something in China. That's not what anyone in the free world wants, okay? That's why people are so passionate about it, period, end of story. If you still do not understand this, I don't care. You're simply not listening. You're simply just being like, well, can't hear you. I hear you're dev. I hear you got games. I hear software gets deprecated and no one likes it, but I just disagree with you because I want to argue. Then I don't care. That's just needless, senseless arguments. I do not care if you just want to argue about this. Okay, there's a lot of people online that see this as a black and white issue. It's so not, and it so will not be when it goes through. But I am thankful it's going through, and I am thankful developers will have their opinion very soon. It is no longer a maybe it will pass thing. We have till July 14th to get 1 million signatures, and we're at 90%. Just a few days ago, this wasn't there. Again, I support this whole initiative, but not as it is. It's not even written. It doesn't even have the end of life written plan here, but not as Ross states it right now. And that should not be a problem if you've already in the past changed your argument to no, the game doesn't need to be online forever. That would be ridiculous. How would developers do that? They would eventually die. Yeah, I wonder who brought up that freaking who do you think said that first a year ago and got everyone thinking about that? Yeah, because it's a reality, okay? I don't disagree with this. I want it to pass because I want software to stop deprecating, period. But also, I want there to be a correct plan for how people deprecate their software in games. Does that make sense? Sorry, I am frustrated because this matters to me. But that should make sense. Coming up with a plan to force them to come up with an idea in the future for when a date or time or how it will end, that's asking for chaos. Again, that is asking for someone who's just going to go, okay, my end of life plan is to take this game and make it playable when I'm dead. Because you're not being clear about the planning. You can't come up with a vague plan and then argue that the plan isn't vague. That's what you guys are doing with me. You're saying, oh, this plan isn't vague, this plan isn't vague. It's extremely vague. You can't agree whether you want a game to remain playable or online forever. Period. Answer that, please. And finally, one last take. Stop using stop killing games as your only argument. After you've backtracked from, oh, well, they can't keep it online forever, to, oh, well, it should just be playable, to then you realize, oh, they could just add a 5-minute player experience and then call it playable. Stop fucking backtracking. All of you are backtracking on this issue instead of going forward with new plans. A new plan to stop software deprecation and give a actual I'm coming up with, and I need help with it, people that actually want to discuss a plan, a actual plan. Not something developers have to think of and come up with themselves, but a simple freaking checkbox that would let everyone know this game will not last forever. And I realize that does not stop the killing of games. I realize that. I promise. I realize that does not go with the title of Stop Killing Games. But if you listen to Louis Rossmann about the right to repair, he has already said this. You cannot get things by just yelling and screaming and thinking it will work. You cannot get things by just going on the internet and starting a petition. And then when people actually start to sign it, you're like, oh no, I don't want to do this. I want to play video games. That's what Ross actually said in his latest video. I saw it on Louis Rossman's channel, but he showed Ross saying, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to play video games. Okay, then don't start the initiative to stop killing games, because I actually care about software being deprecated. I actually want to stop killing games. I actually want to stop killing software, but you have to be realistic about it. And if you refuse to be realistic about it, you live in a delusion.